All right, time for another guitar product review from GuitarTrainingTalk.com. And today I'm going to review a book with a CD. It's called Rock Lead Performance. It was originally put out, I believe, in Musicians Institute, and Hal Leonard's the publisher of it. And the author is a well-known guitar instructor named Danny Gill, and another great guitar instructor called Nick Nolan. And I believe this is like the third book CD in the series they put out. The original was called Rock Lead Basics. Then they have one called Rock Lead Techniques, and this one's called Rock Lead Performance. And basically what it is, teaches you guitar modal training, but it's not a how-to book on how to understand modes if you don't understand them already. So don't get that confused. It's not a book teaching you fully how to understand modes, because it goes right into modal training concepts. It begins with a pretty good idea on how to find the key center and tell kind of what key you're in and what modal scale to use, which is really important because it covers how to harmonize a major scale, which you need to know if you want to understand modes. But then it goes right into modal playing in itself, gives you a little basic theory on guitar modes, but not detailed to fully understand them if you don't know already. Because it starts off right off the bat on page 10, giving you a few D Lydian patterns. So if you don't understand modes and understand that D Lydian patterns are major scale patterns. D Lydian is actually A major scales. If you don't understand that, you're going to get kind of confused trying to understand modes with this. So that's why they call this is a master class book. It's a very advanced book. So you're going to have to be in your intermediate stage of guitar playing and understand major scales and how to harmonize major scales to fully utilize this book. It's very well put together, and it's got a lot of good solo demonstrations on how to get that modal sound over chord progressions. Right after it gives you the D Lydian patterns, it'll give you a couple of I don't know if you can see them very well. You'll see the patterns. It'll give you a couple of D Lydian licks, and then it goes into a mini D Lydian solo. But then right after that, it jumps right into a Mixolydian lick and a Mixolydian solo, and then it goes right into Dorian, Dorian patterns. You can see right there. Then it'll give you some Dorian licks, and then how to solo over Dorian patterns. So it moves quite frequently. It's just going to enhance your understanding of how to solo with modes if you're already at least trying to learn them, already familiar with them. The second part of the book, it will go into soloing with partial chords. Let me get to the page here. Basically, double stops, harmonizing in thirds, harmonizing in fifths, and then it'll give it's got them diagrammed out, so you can easily see what the thirds and sixths and fifths are, and it'll give you some licks, and then it'll do a jam track and solo over them using these types of chords and give you an idea how to just solo with partial chord forms. Then after that section, it covers soloing over changes and gets into the harmonic minor scale and 3-note per string scales. And then it also covers diminished scales, diminished arpeggios, and diminished seventh chords. It also goes into blues soloing and soloing with the dominant scales, E dominant blues. It gets kind of into kind of advanced blues, but it'll give you jam tracks, and they'll demonstrate how to solo over these type of jam tracks. And then it just kind of helps you develop your ear and gives you an idea on how to solo on this kind of modal guitar soloing. Then it goes into modal interchange, changing keys in the middle of a progression on how to solo over that, more jam tracks. And the very last here, it's going to have a little bit more theory, goes in the dark side of the harmonic minor scale, secondary dominance, which I won't get into because it's kind of hard to understand secondary dominance unless you get really deep into theory, but covers a lot of advanced soloing. That's why this is an advanced book, but it's very good. All of Danny Gill's and Nick Nolan's books and DVDs and tapes are really excellent guitar instructions. So if you see something with their name on it, you can bet it's going to be good. So I would highly recommend this. It's got over like 70 demo tracks in here. Everything from modals to blues and soloing, like I said, soloing with chords and partial chord forms. A lot of stuff to cover, to absorb. So you can work through this book a long time, and it's really going to develop your advanced understanding of how to play solo guitar in a rock guitar style, progressive rock guitar, hard rock. I mean, and once again, it's called a Rock Lead Performance. With Danny Gill and Nick Nolan. And once again, it's a masterclass book from Musicians Institute. They put out a lot of these types of books and CDs. So highly recommend this. If you're a Danny Gill fan and you haven't seen this book, bought this book already, I'd highly recommend it for the serious guitar player. This is for the serious guitar player who wants to understand modes, understand advanced soloing. It's not for somebody who just wants to be a ritzy type, traditional rock and blues player. This is not going to be your type of instruction that you're going to like. It's more for the guys who want to divulge into Satriani, Steve Vai, Petrucci, Rush, get into how to solo in an advanced style. So until next time, keep practicing. Take to heart these recommendations, that all these products that I put on here are top notch, and they'll help your playing tremendously.